Hi everybody, you're getting me in full-blown mess mode. I just got out of a float tank. That is why there is so much salt in my hair and I'm all wet and a little discombobulated. But for those of you, when I was in there, I was thinking, I was like, this whole process in here is so symbolic. And so for those of you who don't know what a float tank is, there are places, at least in the US, you can go, they're like float tank spas, and you can go in for an hour. You're in a room, and then you enter the tank, and the water is only probably this deep, but it's full and full and full and full and full of Epsom salts, magnesium. And with that amount of salt, you're able to actually essentially float when you go to lay. And the idea is it's super, super good for the nervous system. It's sensory deprivation, so you basically are cut off from everything. You're in the dark. You can put low lights on, but you're in the dark. They have earplugs for the water, and you just have the experience of floating, immersed in this water. And I was thinking about how symbolic it was. I actually randomly decided to go. I only went once 4 years ago. And I decided to go today because last night on the 4th of July, there were, both me and Daisy are very accustomed to fireworks. I enjoy fireworks very much. But I've never had this incident where there was an entire fireworks show going off about 7 feet from my condo. And the sound level was just, there's no words for it, and the flashes of light, it felt like, I cannot imagine what it is like to be in a war zone, because this was enough. Daisy is not afraid of fireworks. She was sitting trembling. I was so agitated. I had to get her out of there, drive her around until it all stopped, got back late at night. And this morning when I woke up, my nervous system was just completely fried, completely fried. And I knew I needed to give my entire nervous system a break. And so I thought of this and I went. And when I was in there, I was thinking of how symbolic it was for me to be able to fully let go, even though I was floating. And when I give talks, I constantly talk about the concept of surrender as being one of the first steps, and that is to essentially let go of trying to control and hang on to everything. And that's done in so many different ways. That might be micromanagement behavior, that may be constant excessive thinking, obsessing, ruminating, thinking, not being present. That might be trying to micromanage everything. And the surrender point is just to get out of your own way, to let that all go, to become present, to soften, to let go of this illusion that you're controlling anything by what you're doing. Oh, guys, there's a turtle. Do you see it? Wow. I don't know if anybody can see it. That was so cool. And I am by this pretty river. And when I was in there, here's this, you're floating, you're completely supported. And yet when I tuned in, because you have this different awareness of your body when everything's sort of cut off, I'm tensing my foot, hanging on to that. And I noticed it was like the rest of my body's floating and my head is floating, but I'm hanging on to it. I've got it sort of gripped as if it's like I needed to control in this tiny little tank where I could possibly go. And then I noticed oh my gosh, my left shoulder is hanging on for dear life. It felt like, oh, this is up here doing this. And I just noticed it, and I just was present with it, and I just got curious about it, which I teach a lot of you when you work with me. And I slowly let my foot soften, and I just played with what it would be like to move my left shoulder a little bit, to let my head relax a bit. And within I was in there for an hour, and then towards that ending hour, I realized I finally was able to fully let my head go, not hanging it up here, holding it up. And I thought, how symbolic is this? We're so desperate to, even when we're completely supported, even if we had every reason in the world to let go, there's a way we want to still hold on, to grip, to micromanage, to think that somehow we're protecting ourselves. And this comes from all sorts of, past experiences, past traumas, learned behavior. And it's understandable, but most people know it doesn't help. It gets in your way. It sabotages things left and right. It drains you constantly. It has your nervous system in constant arousal. Your body thinks it's constantly, basically, on the lookout for a predator. And I want you to really think about a way to notice if you're willing to soften a bit into the moment is check in with your body. I just did it there. I just checked in. My leg was tensed. I was holding it. Can you drop into your body? Can you soften what you're holding? Can you breathe when you go to obsessively think about something? Can you breathe and come back to the breath and come back to the moment? For those of you with a spiritual connection, can you trust in something bigger than yourself, whatever that is? So I hope that helps, and I hope you all have a happy week. I am going to go home and shower all this salt out of my hair. Give you one last view of Blue River. See you soon.